everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to EA Tetragrammaton. This is turn 4. Let's jump in thing. So, we got a proclamation from Lunka. Lunka getting on the profit bandwagon. We've got Apupa the Raktapata. So that's actually, I think that's one of his cap-only mages, maybe? If I'm remembering correctly. We can check here in a second. So he might have waited to profitize that to have a better profit that he plans on keeping around for a long time. We plan on probably killing off Masanapada here after a little bit and getting a different profit. So we've got the prophet of devil in the detail, the copper caster of the gods, god of unnatural lust, master of vegetation. Pretty cool titles. Cool. Alright, we lost a crippled unit in the march. And then we have a battle in Perenna and Kun Aral. These are nervous battles. Let's watch. Okay, well, I say they're nervous battles, but I guess it kind of gives it away in the fact that we didn't have any bumps there, so less nervous battles. So we've got our god, Nazar II, attacking in Perenna against a surprisingly large number of cataphracts, actually. This could be dangerous. So watch as, oof, we miss a horse over here with the far strike. I think the next one was over here. I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to see sometimes. Oh, yeah, we shot over there again. So not trying to far strike the cataphracts like I would prefer. But as the cataphracts come in, right, their Lancia, they do some damage, right? It's kind of like, for a second. And then everyone gets entangled, and we go the old route of the Anunnaki of growth and rebirth, where he's just like, well, you're all entangled, get fucked. So he even throws in another far strike to finish off his script there. Bashes a light cavalry. And we walk away just fine, which is awesome. Cool. All right, so that was the battle in Perenna. Our Anunnaki of growth and rebirth did just fine there. In Kun Aral, we were nervous about this because it could have been a bunch of wolf tribe, and that could be very, very dicey for us. Let's watch this. Okay, so we've got a group of various infantry, Enkidu soldiers, chosen, guards. We even have a hornblower in there for good measure. Our commanders spread out. We've got our two Masushus on attack rear. And it's actually not that big of a pile of wolf tribe. It's about the same size as the previous one. There is a barbarian chief in here, so we're not going to be able to just assassinate on the rear charge and rout everyone. Probably going to have to fight this out more than we would prefer to. That guy just instantly dies, and the lines meet. Right, and with the lines together, it's okay. But we are definitely like losing or taking damage, losing people, etc. We rout their infantry, move to kill the barbarian chief because he's still kind of fighting us. Our Musushus actually one of them gets entangled by the shaman back here, which is kind of annoying. Got nature one, so he can do the fucking vine shot or whatever it is. But eventually we get in and we start to rip through. One of our Musushus does get a limp, which is really unfortunate because this fucks up they're not going to be the same combat speed now, so they're going to hit at very different times, which is super negative for us. But we do win Kun Aral with just one death on the hornblower and 2 deaths on the Inky soldiers. A couple of wounds basically across the board, but nothing too terribly difficult. Nothing we can't recover from. And then we have an unexpected event in Thank you. Have a good day. Mwah. So we have an unexpected event in Insect swarms are eating the crops and annoying the populace, so we get some unrest, which is going to tick down immediately. And gold, or lose some gold, which is kind of annoying because we need all the gold we can. So, pretty big turn, and boom! We see Agartha and we see Pangaea. And actually, I've had, because this isn't a diplomacy only in game, right? So immediately both of these players, Agartha and Pangaea, contacted me at the start of this turn. So I've had discussions with both of them, kind of hashing things out. Agartha immediately contacted me for a non-aggression pact, which I am generally loath to do long-term non-aggression pacts early on, right? Because I think they stifle you, they limit what you're capable of. Agartha wanted a nap 3. I negotiated for a nap 1 until turn 10, at which point, if we want, we can renegotiate at that point. Basically just something, you know, that we can both know we're not breathing down each other's necks, we're not, like, about to cross the borders, the war has begun, etc. Right? It gives us a little bit of caution, or a little bit of safety, right? But allows us to pretty quickly go, okay, look, nap's over, we're coming. And it's not like, nap's over, I'll see you in a quarter of a year, bye. Yeah. So that's what's happening with Agartha, and then Pangaea contacted me because they actually wanted 80. They wanted Kronberg. And I pointed out that Kronberg was only 2 away from my capital and 3 away from theirs. They hadn't looked at the map that the host had posted, right? Because it's a fixed start location map. And after that, they were like, oh, okay, we see. So we hashed out some preliminary borders, basically, so that we could expand without too much worry, which I think is probably a good idea for us, especially against Pangaea. Pangaea is assuming that they are doing anything like a normal Pangaea player. They are going to have a pretty strong bless on their centaurs, their white centaurs, and that's going to be dangerous for us, very dangerous for us, at least until we can do something to hit like a critical mass or something like that. And even then, it's still extremely dangerous for us. So we've hashed out a little bit of a border, securing us Kronberg. The border basically is the river and the mountains. So it's from this pond to this pond, and it's basically that Pangaea gets the left, gets these 3, basically, 1, 2, 3, and then I get these 3, 1, 2, 3, right? And Kronberg, right, should be mine. It's in my sphere of influence. In technicality, 76 is 3 away from both of us. So that should be up for anyone's grab. This is absolutely a better deal, territory-wise, for Pangaea. But I'm okay with that, partially because it's just how the land kind of worked out, right? Because of these river crossings and these mountains, I could try, right? It's having Scraw Point would make more sense if there was a bridge or a fjord here, right? But there's not. So I'm actually okay with just making sure we're not into a huge fight on turn 5. And securing something for us. Because I like the idea of this kind of like southern expansion area, like this being a post for us. I think, obviously, Kronberg is a massive province and it's going to be incredibly important for us. And when we get it, that's absolutely going to be one of those, like, okay, fort here. Just like I think Perenna is going to need to be a fort here. And I think, yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, Kailasa is down here, if I'm remembering the placement correctly. So I don't think Kailasa is going to be coming up here in anytime soon. However, think about 1, 2, 3, either one of these. This sphere of influence, right? I would love to basically hold this whole section and have a border here with Kailasa. Because that's potentially something, if Pangea and I establish a good relationship, then Pangea and I could move down onto Kailasa. I could take like kind of the coast, could take the central portions. If Pangea and I don't establish a good relationship, and Kailasa and I have a nice border and establish good relationships, then I could move into Pangea's side, he could move up into Pangea's center, etc. Right, so these are all the things that I'm just kind of like thinking about as far as like where territory connects, what the plan potentially could be eventually, etc. So what are we actually doing this turn? I've been talking a lot about theoretics and negotiations and things like that, diplomacy. We are moving Nazar down into Tyrrhenia, right? There are heavy infantries and slingers here. That shouldn't be too much of an issue for Nazar, which is good. So he's going to come down here and take Tyrrhenia. Famous last words. Not too much of an issue. Gets destroyed, right? It's possible that Fomoria is coming here, by the way. I think that's unlikely. Fomoria has farmland here, incredibly good farmland here in 18, and farmland here in 123. So I would assume that Fomoria is going to be focused on those. However, Shambolic 107 is a massive province. So it might be, and Fomoria might be more worried, or their expansion might have just been directed this way, right? That happens. Sometimes you're like, I don't want to go here because of lizards. Simple as that, right? So sometimes your expansion is pushed in a direction just by the indies that are around you. So it's possible that Fomoria is already here, right? Because it would be 1, 2. So it's possible that he's just like, oh, well, let's just snag this, you know. I hope that that's not the case. So that's where we're going, is Tyrrhenia. I'm moving Elder 1. I need to rename. I haven't been on top of my renaming prior to recording, but I've been doing renaming like after our recording. I'm moving one of our Enkidu Elders into Perennia because I want to start getting the defense up there, and pretty much as soon as possible, I want to start making a fort, especially if Agartha and I have a Nap 1, right? So that's something. And then I want to, you know, get a fort down in Koenberg too. So we're moving Misanapada. We've combined this army, and we're attacking Koenberg. This is dangerous. This is absolutely dangerous. The only reason I am doing this is because last turn it showed about 30 enemy units here. This turn it's showing about 10 enemy units here. So for me, that means it's possible that it's closer to the 30 or higher. But for me, I would assume that it's probably around the 20-ish mark. Most of those are probably going to be heavy cav. The rest of them are going to be heavy infantry, right? Which the game tends to weight heavy cav as very, very strong, and they are very strong. But heavy cav actually isn't that crazy against us. Heavy cav is very good because they have lance charges, and those lance charges tend to obliterate a human level infantry, right? They'll just outright kill them. But that's not going to happen for our soldiers, right? They shouldn't outright kill them unless we get multiple hits. But then the other thing about heavy cav is after they lance charge you, they're heavy cav. They're super armored, so your human range infantry are going to have a tough time cutting through them. But again, we're not human infantry, so we're not going to die on the charge as much. And when we hit back hard. So, typically speaking, I actually like even just our Enkidu soldiers against heavy cav. Adding in the Musushus, I think, will probably help seal the deal. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. I am actually going to put in Word of Thorns, because Word of Thorns can be very useful screwing up the heavy cav charge, right? If you have like 2 or 3 of them that get caught by a thorn, and they can't join that initial charge into your front line, then it kind of helps mitigate that power behind heavy cav. So Word of Thorns is pretty good when it comes to that. This is risky, right? Moving Coneburg, especially since we've already kind of like established borders with Pangea. We could have just gone up into Fever Fens, and I really considered it. I considered moving into Fever Fens and then potentially moving up into Underspring. But I don't want to press Agartha to the point to where he gets pissed off at me, basically. So, and I really want Coneburg, and I really want the money that I'm assuming is going to come from Coneburg. Watch Coneburg actually have like a death side or something like that. That'd be so bad. I'm gonna be so angry. All right, but that's basically what we're doing, right? We're moving an Elder into Perennia. We're moving Nazar into Tyrannia. We're moving Masanapada and another Elder into Coneburg. Hopefully, just like last turn, these two go well for us. If they go well for us, it's already turn 4. We've already got 5 provinces. That will be turn 5. We'll have 7 provinces. We will be pretty well on our way. And what we might actually end up doing is we might end up reinforcing, right? Since we'll be in Coneburg, we could move, we could just bulk a turn, right? Like just pass a turn, moving into Gladewood, and reinforce from Gladewood into Sinkhole Swamp with a force that is basically two more turns of recruitment, or 3 more turns of recruitment, right? So it would be a pretty big force, because right now we are recruiting another Musushu, a couple of Inki's Chosen, some Urgard to kind of Urgard and Enkidu soldiers to kind of round things out. And we are getting our first Gudu, okay? So Gudus come with either 2 in air or 2 in earth. They are very important for us. We want to have a couple out early. They're going to help us with our research, but we're not going to focus horribly on research because pretty early on, we're going to take, hopefully, an air and an earth and start site searching. Because we want to increase, 1, we have no air income right now. 2, we only have 1 earth income right now. We need that to be increased. We need that to be increased so badly. So incredibly badly. So we're definitely gonna be focusing on trying to get them out site searching. What are you doing? Anyways. That is basically the turn. Recruitment-wise, we're going to finish Alteration this turn, right? So we'll have Alteration 1. We're going to aim for Alt 2 for now. That's gonna be a while, because, we do not have very much research. So I'm not super worried about that, but the game plan there is to just try to get up into some decent buffs that we can utilize. Whether it's like Stone Skin is great, obviously. Getting eventually into Alteration 3 for Iron Skin is going to make it basically to where our god, Nazar, is incredibly strong. Especially since by that point we should have better research and we'll be able to flip over to Construction 2 and then gear him out with some basic gear. So that's the generalized plan. That's what's happening. This is probably the game plan for up to turn 10 and 15, basically, is to hit Alteration 3 and Construction 2. Though Conjuration is pretty important for us, so we'll be looking for opportunity to grab that as well. We do have these Crystal Sorceresses. We want to move on these sooner rather than later, because the more we can get of them, the better. However, they are very high upkeep compared to some of the shit that we have, right? Our Gudus, for example, are upkeep 62. That is 22 more gold per year. Eesh, that's rough, and that adds up pretty quick. However, Crystal Sorceresses are great, so we want to get them sooner rather than later. We've got a lot to do. I feel like we are very fortunate. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm not sure that I'm happy with this bless, with these scales and this bless. I just really, really, really like scales. But I'm trying something new, so I want to see how it works out. But I think if I have to live with this bless, which obviously I do, right? Then I think we're kind of setting up pretty nicely for it. because we do have some pretty amazing provinces that we're landing on already, and that's pretty good for us. If we can end with the around about 15 provinces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? That's just this square. We've already negotiated for 16, 17 from Pangaea, although Kailasa might have something to say about that. If we can maybe filch Shambolic or something else, right? Got some pretty interesting options. We could have a whole lot of growth, and with growth 3 and these awesome provinces, we could have pretty intense income later on in the game, which is sweet because we are an income nation. We're not a. It's very hard for to go full. Go move into a gem economy, basically. Obviously, you are gonna move as much as you can into a gem economy, but we don't have just crazy spammable summons that are going to fill our rosters completely. We do have a couple things, and we're gonna utilize them as best we can. All right, anyways, that's going to be the turn. I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.